Cheese appears in your meals more often than you realize, but there is something about it that almost no one has ever told you. It's not about calories, it's not about fat, it's about how it may be quietly influencing how fast your skin is aging. Every single day. You might be eating cheese regularly, at breakfast, in a quick lunch, sprinkled over something simple when you don't feel like cooking. And if you are like most people over 50, you are not using it the right way, not because you chose the wrong food, but because you are missing something much more important. Timing. You look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, and something feels different. The lines around your eyes seem a little deeper. Your skin doesn't bounce back the way it used to. There's a dryness, a thinness, a kind of tired look that wasn't there before. And what makes it even more frustrating is this: you are trying. You've tried creams, you've tried serums. You may have even spent a significant amount of money on treatments that promised visible results. But every morning, your skin still looks the same, or slightly worse. And over time, a quiet thought starts to grow in the back of your mind. Maybe this is just aging. Maybe nothing can really change it. But that is not entirely true, because your skin is not simply aging from the outside. It is aging from within, cell by cell, day after day. Throughout the day, your body is constantly under pressure: stress, inflammation, sun exposure, pollution, hormonal changes. All of these forces slowly wear down the internal structure of your skin. But what most people don't realize is that the most important moment for your skin doesn't happen during the day. It happens at night. While you sleep, your body shifts into repair mode. This is when it tries to rebuild collagen. Restore hydration. Strengthen the very structure that keeps your skin firm and elastic. But here is the problem that almost no one talks about. Most people go to sleep, completely undernourished for that repair process. No steady supply of amino acids, no sustained protein, no real building material. Imagine trying to repair a damaged house without bricks. You can have the best plan, you can have the best workers, but without materials, nothing gets rebuilt. That is exactly what is happening inside your body. And that is why, no matter what you apply on the surface, your skin doesn't truly change. Because the real work happens underneath. And this is where cheese becomes something very different from what you think it is. Not just a food, not just a source of calories, but potentially a strategic tool. The difference is not in eating more of it. The difference is in understanding which type and when. Because certain types of cheese behave very differently in your body. Some release nutrients slowly, supporting your skin throughout the entire night. Others deliver amino acids quickly, activating repair mechanisms right when your body needs them most. And there is one that almost no one pays attention to, yet it directly supports one of the most powerful anti-aging systems inside your body. Today, I'm going to show you 3 types of cheese that can support your skin in a way most people completely overlook. And more importantly, at the end, I will show you exactly when to consume each one, so your body can finally use them the way it was designed to. Because sometimes, it's not that you are eating the wrong things, it's that you are eating the right things, at the wrong time, when your body does not receive the nutrients it needs during the night. It doesn't just pause the repair process, it compromises it. And that is a much bigger problem than most people realize. Because your skin is not waiting, it is constantly changing. Every single night your body makes a decision. Either it rebuilds, or it slowly breaks down. There is no neutral state. And here is where things become uncomfortable. If you go to bed without the right nutrients, your body doesn't have enough material to properly repair collagen. So instead of rebuilding strong, structured skin, it performs what I call minimal survival repair. Just enough to keep things functioning. Not enough to restore what was lost, night after night. This creates a silent deficit. You don't notice it immediately, not in a few days, not even in a few weeks, but over months and years, it accumulates. Your skin becomes thinner, less elastic, less capable of holding moisture. Lines that once disappeared start to stay, and eventually, they deepen. But here is the part that most people never connect. It's not just about what your body is missing, it's also about what happens when that repair process is incomplete. When collagen is not properly rebuilt, its structure becomes weaker, and weaker collagen doesn't just sit there. It breaks down faster, which means the next day, your skin starts from an even lower baseline, and the cycle repeats. This is how aging accelerates without you realizing it. Not suddenly, but gradually, quietly, consistently. And this is why so many people feel like their skin aged all at once. It didn't. It was happening every night. You just didn't see it until it reached a point where it became visible. And by then, most people try to fix it from the outside. Creams, treatments, redressed. Because the real issue was happening while you were asleep. Let me be very clear with you. This is not about a miracle food. And it is not about replacing everything you are currently doing. But if you believe that skin aging is something you can fix only from the outside, then you are working against your own biology. Because your skin is not just a surface, it is a living tissue, one of the most active tissues in your body. It is constantly renewing itself, constantly rebuilding, constantly adapting to everything happening inside you. And that process depends on one thing above all else: raw materials. Not just any nutrients, the right ones, in the right form, at the right time. I see this every day in clinical practice. Patients who are disciplined, who use high-quality skincare, who take care of themselves, and yet, their skin does not respond. Not because they are doing nothing, but because they are missing the internal support their body actually needs. Protein is often mentioned. But here is the part most people don't understand. Not all proteins behave the same way in your body. Some are absorbed quickly and disappear. Others release nutrients slowly over hours. Some provide the specific amino acids required to rebuild collagen, while others do not. And when you start to understand this difference, you begin to see why certain foods, used correctly, can make a visible difference. Not overnight, not instantly, but consistently. And this is exactly where we are going next. There are 3 types of cheese I want you to understand today. Not because they are popular, not because they are trendy, but because each one interacts with your body in a completely different way. One of them works slowly, feeding your body over hours while you sleep, supporting the entire overnight repair process. Another one acts quickly, delivering amino acids almost immediately, right when your cells are most receptive. And the third, may be the most overlooked of all, yet it plays a direct role in strengthening your body's internal defense system against aging. These are not random choices. Each one serves a specific purpose, at a specific moment, and when you begin to use them with that level of intention, something changes, not just in how your skin looks, but in how your body responds. But before I show you exactly how to use them together, you need to understand each one individually, because once you see what they actually do inside your body, you will never look at them the same way again. The first cheese is cottage cheese. And I need you just for a moment to stop thinking of it as that bland, boring food someone once recommended in a restrictive diet, because that perception is exactly what has been holding you back from using one of the most intelligent foods for your skin after 60. Let me explain it to you the same way I explain it to my patients. Your skin doesn't age only because of what happens during the day. It ages because of what fails to happen at night. During the day, your body is constantly exposed to stress, inflammation, environmental damage. But at night, your body switches roles. It stops reacting and starts repairing. The repair process depends heavily on one thing: a steady supply of amino acids. Not a sudden spike, not a quick burst that disappears, but a continuous flow. This is where cottage cheese becomes different from almost every other protein source, because of the type of protein it contains: casein. When you consume casein, it does not get digested quickly. It doesn't rush into your bloodstream and disappear within an hour. Instead, it forms a soft, gel-like structure in your stomach. And from that moment on, something very important happens. It begins to release amino acids slowly, steadily, over several hours. Think of it this way. Most proteins are like pouring a glass of water into your body, all at once, and then it's gone. Casein is different. It's like a slow intravenous drip, a constant controlled supply drop by drop throughout the night. And for your skin, that changes everything. Because while you are asleep, your body is not inactive. It is rebuilding collagen, reinforcing the structure of your skin, restoring internal hydration. But without a steady supply of amino acids, that process becomes incomplete. With cottage cheese, it doesn't. Your cells continue receiving what they need hour after hour, which means the repair process doesn't stop after 1 hour. It continues throughout the entire night. And this becomes even more important as you age, because after 60, your body not only produces less collagen, it also becomes less efficient at rebuilding it. It needs consistency, not peaks, not occasional support, but sustained signals, and cottage cheese provides exactly that. But there is another layer that most people don't know. Cottage cheese is rich in specific amino acids, glycine and proline. These are not just random nutrients, they are the structural foundation of collagen itself. Without glycine, collagen loses stability. Without proline, it loses strength. So even if someone is consuming protein, if they are not getting these specific building blocks, their skin may not improve. Cottage cheese delivers them in a highly usable form. One more effect you need to understand. Your skin doesn't just need to rebuild, it needs to hold water. Because many wrinkles are not only caused by age, but by a loss of internal hydration. When your skin structure weakens, it cannot retain moisture properly. It becomes thinner, drier, more fragile. By supporting collagen repair overnight, cottage cheese helps restore that internal structure, which means your skin can hold hydration more effectively. And this is why many people notice something subtle, but real. They wake up, and their skin looks different, not dramatically transformed, but softer, more rested, less marked, as if something finally worked during the night. I remember a patient, Anna, 72 years old. She came in frustrated. She felt like her skin had aged rapidly over just a few months. She had tried everything, creams, serums, even aesthetic treatments, but nothing gave her back that firmness she remembered. So I asked her a very simple question. What do you eat before you go to sleep? Her answer was what I hear all the time. Sometimes tea, sometimes a cookie, sometimes nothing. That was the problem. I suggested something simple, half a cup of cottage cheese before bed. No complexity, no expensive products, just consistency. A few weeks later, she came back and the first thing she said was, something changed. Her skin looked more hydrated in the morning, softer. The fine lines around her eyes, less pronounced. And the most important part, she didn't change anything else. That is what I want you to understand. This is not about doing more. It's about doing the right thing, at the right moment. The second cheese is Parmesan, but not the one that comes in a plastic container, powdered, and sitting on a shelf for months. That product is not what your body needs. When I talk about Parmesan, I mean the real one, the kind that comes in a solid block, firm, aged, with a rind. The kind you slice or grate yourself, because that difference matters more than most people think. Real Parmesan is not just cheese, it is a concentrated nutritional system. To produce a single piece of Parmesan, large amounts of milk are used, and over time, through a long aging process, something remarkable happens. Water is removed. What remains is a dense concentration of nutrients. Protein becomes more compact, more available, more efficient. And here is where it becomes especially important after 60. Your digestive system changes. It produces fewer enzymes, less stomach acid. It works, but not the same way it used to. That's why many people begin to feel heavy after eating protein-rich foods. Meat becomes harder to digest. Meals feel slower, sometimes even uncomfortable. But Parmesan behaves differently, because during the aging process, it is partially broken down. The long protein chains are already fragmented. They become smaller peptides, and even free amino acids, which means something very important for your body. The hard work is already done. When you eat real Parmesan, your body doesn't need to struggle to break it down. It absorbs it quickly, efficiently, almost immediately. And those amino acids don't just circulate randomly. They are used right away, especially by tissues that are constantly renewing, like your skin, because your skin is always rebuilding itself, losing cells, creating new ones. And for that process to work well, it needs ready-to-use materials. Yeah, something that takes hours to process, but something it can use immediately. Think of it like this. Instead of delivering raw materials that need to be cut and shaped, you are delivering pieces that are already prepared, ready to be assembled. And this becomes even more important in older adults, because efficiency matters more than quantity. It's not about eating more protein, it's about absorbing it better. But Parmesan offers something beyond that, something deeper. It contains bioactive compounds that help regulate inflammation. And this is a critical piece that many people overlook. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of aging, not just in joints, but in the skin. When your skin is constantly exposed to low-grade inflammation, collagen breaks down faster, elasticity decreases, repair becomes less effective. Over time, this leads to visible aging, wrinkles, sagging, loss of tone. But when you introduce foods that help modulate that inflammation, the entire environment changes. Your body shifts from a state of constant defense to a state where it can focus more on repair. And that shift makes a difference, not instantly, but progressively. And there is one more detail that may seem small but is not. Parmesan has a very strong umami flavor, that deep, satisfying taste. And for many older adults, appetite decreases over time. Food becomes less appealing, less interesting. But when food tastes better, you eat better, and when you eat better, your body receives what it needs, which eventually reflects on your skin. So when you think about Parmesan, don't think of it as a topping, think of it as a highly concentrated, easily usable, nutritional support system, especially for a body that no longer processes food the way it used to. The third cheese is ricotta, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is probably the most underestimated of the three, because at first glance, it looks simple, soft, light, mild in flavor, the kind of food most people don't take seriously. But what matters is not how it looks, it's how it is made, because ricotta is not produced in the same way as most cheeses. While many cheeses are made from curds, ricotta comes from whey, that liquid portion that for centuries was considered a byproduct, something left over, something almost discarded, and yet, that leftover contains one of the most valuable forms of protein your body can use. Whey protein. You may have heard of it before. It's the same protein people buy in powders, in supplements, in processed forms. But here, it exists in a natural state, without additives, without aggressive processing. Just real food. And what makes whey protein different is how your body handles it. Unlike casein, which releases nutrients slowly, whey does the opposite. It is absorbed quickly, very quickly. Short time after consuming it, amino acids begin to rise in your bloodstream. This creates what we call a nutritional signal, a clear message to your cells: the materials are here, start working. And there are moments in your day when this matters more than anything. Moments when your body is ready to repair, but needs a fast response. Not something slow, not something delayed, but something immediate. This is where ricotta becomes powerful. But the most important part is not just speed. It's what it contains. There is a specific amino acid that rarely gets attention: cysteine. You may not hear about it often, but your body depends on it, because cysteine is one of the key building blocks needed to produce something essential: glutathione. And this is where we step into one of the most important mechanisms of aging. Glutathione is not just another antioxidant. It is often called the body's master antioxidant, your internal defense system. Every day, your body is exposed to free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, proteins, membranes, and yes, collagen in your skin. This damage is not visible immediately, but it accumulates. Over time, it shows up as aging, wrinkles, loss of elasticity, uneven tone, dull-looking skin. Now imagine your body has a protective system, capable of neutralizing that damage before it builds up. That system is glutathione. But here is the problem. As you age, your natural production of glutathione decreases. And when that happens, the balance shifts. Damage begins to outpace repair. That's why many people feel like their skin suddenly ages faster after a certain point. It's not sudden. It's that their internal defense system dropped. And this is where ricotta becomes more than just a food. By providing cysteine, it gives your body the raw material it needs to produce more glutathione. You are not applying something from the outside, you are activating something from within. And that is a completely different approach. It's the difference between covering a problem and strengthening the system itself. Over time, this shows the skin becomes more resilient, more even, less reactive, not just better looking, but stronger. Whales receive the right amino acids. Your entire system functions better. Energy improves, metabolism stabilizes, internal balance is restored, and when your body works better, it reflects on your appearance. That's why ricotta, despite its simplicity, can become one of the most strategic tools for supporting your skin. Not because it is complicated, but because it works with your biology, not against it. Now, you have the pieces. You understand what each of these cheeses can do. You understand how they behave in your body. But this is where most people make a critical mistake. They focus only on what they eat and completely ignore when they eat it. And that changes everything, because your body does not work the same way all day. It follows rhythms. There are moments when your cells are highly receptive, moments when repair is active, moments when absorption is more efficient, and if you miss those moments, even the right food loses a large part of its effect. This is why so many people eat well, but don't see results, not because they are doing the wrong things, but because they are doing the right things at the wrong time. Think about this. After an entire night without nutrients, your body wakes up in a state of need. It is ready to absorb, ready to respond, ready to rebuild. But what does it usually receive? Coffee, sugar, something quick, or sometimes nothing at all. And that moment is lost. At night, the opposite happens. Your body enters its most important repair phase. But again, there is no support, no sustained nutrients, no steady supply of amino acids, so the process becomes incomplete. And this is the mistake that repeats every single day, quietly, without you realizing it, until one day, you see the result in the mirror. The solution is not complicated. You don't need to change everything you eat, you don't need extreme diets, you just need to start using these foods at the right moment. Think of it as working with your body, instead of against it. In the morning, your body is coming out of a long period without nutrients. It is highly receptive. Your cells are ready to absorb, ready to respond. This is where ricotta becomes incredibly effective. Because of its fast absorption, it delivers amino acids quickly into your system. It sends a clear signal, the materials are here, start repairing. This doesn't just support your skin, it helps stabilize your energy, improves mental clarity, reduces that mid-morning fatigue many people experience. It sets the tone for your entire day. In the afternoon, your goal is different. Now, you are not trying to activate the system, you are trying to sustain it. This is where Parmesan fits perfectly. Its nutrients are dense, but easy to absorb. It reinforces what your body started earlier, without overwhelming your digestion. A few thin slices, or lightly grated over your meal, is enough. Not excess, just consistency. And there is something subtle but important here. When food tastes better, you eat better. And when you eat better, your body responds better. In the evening, everything changes again. Now your body is preparing for its most important phase. Repair. This is where cottage cheese becomes essential. Because of its slow digestion, it releases amino acids over several hours, not all at once, but gradually throughout the entire night. Which means your body doesn't run out of materials halfway through the process. It continues rebuilding, strengthening, restoring, hour after hour. This is the difference between partial repair and complete repair. So when you look at this approach, it's not about eating more, it's about timing your nutrition in a way that matches your body's natural rhythm. Morning, activation; afternoon, reinforcement; night, regeneration. Simple, but powerful. If you are over 50, or even over 60, I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. How many times have you looked in the mirror and felt like something changed, but you couldn't explain why? Not overnight, but gradually. Your skin feels different, less responsive, less alive. And what makes it harder is that you are not neglecting yourself, you are trying. You are eating better than before. You are taking care of your health, and yet